Hey babes, my name's Chasity.
And my name's Hannah.
Welcome back to Bookish Babes. Today we will be continuing our series, A Book Babble.
Yes.
Bookish Babe Book Babble. I was determined to say it.
Yeah.
Determined to say it. Today, our book of choice is Layla by Colleen Hoover.
It just came out, what, like a month ago-ish? It came out in December, didn't it?
I didn't even think it was a full month yet.
Yeah.
I think it's, no, maybe it is a full month. Who knows? It came out in
It's
December.
currently January 11th, and it came out in December, so it's been about a month.
Also, I love the cover.
The cover is really cool.
I'm in love with it. I'm also in love with like Seal It.
Oh yeah, it's one of those nice covers.
Yeah.
Also, we should preface this by saying that obviously all of our book babbles are
Spoilers!
yeah, full of spoilers. So if you haven't read it yet, go read it and then come back and watch this video and talk about it with us because we got a lot to say.
We do have a lot to say, and we are literally going to tell you everything.
Yeah.
So if you have not read it,
It's
and you're
going to
going
spoil
to
everything,
read it,
so
leave now.
leave. Goodbye. We'll
I'm
see you later.
giving you your chance.
Yeah.
You've got to go. And then come back. Make sure you come back. But
I'm not going to feel bad for you if we spoil it for you.
no.
Okay.
Fair warning.
Yeah.
Okay.
So first, I feel like we should say what we rated it. I rated it 5 stars.
I rated it 5 stars.
We loved it. We love Colleen. I was nervous about a paranormal book.
I was so excited.
I mean, I was excited because I'm definitely like a believer in ghosts, but I feel like they have to be done right.
Well, I was really interested to see what kind of like paranormal we were really stepping into, because with her you never know, because like after Verity I was just like, child, I don't even know what she's gonna do with this one. But I've always been a fan of reading paranormal stuff, so I was excited, and I was excited to see what she could do with it.
Yeah. I just, once again, I feel like it has to be done right, and this was done, I think, right.
I think so too.
I liked the angle that she took with it, how it wasn't like, and this is really how I believe spirits are, is I think most of them aren't bad. You know what I mean? They're just there.
I would agree with that.
They exist in this
there.
world, but they're not there to hurt you all the time. So like, obviously, I feel like we should just jump into it, you know, like Willow was not there to hurt him. She was just there. She was drawn there for a reason. Of course, we found out the reason she was drawn there.
Yeah. But let me tell you something. First, fun fact, I was supposed to be named Willow, and I love that name. So I just, thank you, Colleen.
Yeah. I remember reading this and being so livid that, because I loved Leeds and Layla as a couple.
I loved them, and you know what? I thought the beginning of the story, before they even go there, I thought it was so like, it caught me, right?
Their connection. I felt it from the beginning, and so when it got to the point where him and Willow were experiencing the connection that they had, I remember being mad because, and I didn't buy it at first, because I really felt Leeds and Layla's connection so strongly that I couldn't believe that he was having a connection with not somebody else but another entity.
Yeah.
So then of course it all made sense in the end. Because I was like, how is he more connected to this spirit than he is to Layla, when like truly him and Layla are the ones with that really deep-seated connection. And so I like the twist that she took on this, where it was sort of like a more literal take of soulmates, because, you know, even Layla, when she's not alive, when it was just her spirit, her soul,
she knew.
She still knew to come there, and they were still connected. So I thought that was interesting. It's sort of like Colleen was like, do you really believe in soulmates?
Yeah. Do you? Because we're gonna make you believe today.
Yeah.
Oh, the writing was interesting to me, because we're going back and forth between like how they started and then
like how they were communicating. Like, I liked the conversations they would have on like the computer where they would type to each other. I thought that was interesting.
But I also thought it was really interesting the way she wrote like the interview. Like, you had no idea what was going on, and he was only giving
back
you
and forth. Yeah.
Like, he was telling you how they met, and before this house, and before this, and before that, and it was like,
I feel like we skipped past the whole beginning of the book, but it's fine, because if you're here, you've probably read it. But I don't know. From beginning to end, I was really intrigued by where she was going with it.
Yeah, because
and I remember
it's like,
where we got to the point where she was making us think that Willow was Sable.
Oh,
And
I was
fucking
pissed.
pissed.
I was pissed. I was like, find a way to kill that bitch.
And I was like, there's no way that she's doing this to me, that she's making him feel a connection with that psycho.
Fucking psycho who had like a fan club for him and shit.
I know. The whole thing was just crazy. And then I appreciate the turn that she ended up taking with it, where like Sable was inside of Layla. It's obviously, if you've read it, you know what I'm talking about. It's hard to explain.
So crazy too. And then you like think back to all of the things that Layla wasn't understanding or wasn't getting.
It makes so much sense now.
It makes so much sense.
Like, now if I were to read it again, it would be so obvious. But obviously, you know, going into it, you're confused. You know, does she have like some sort of amnesia because of the shooting, or is it the trauma? Is her brain blocking things out? And
because that stuff happens. Like people literally block out complete chunks of their lives.
It does. It happens all the time. And so at first I thought that's what was happening, and I think that's what she intended for us to think. But then of course it got to the point where Willow clearly knew too much, where she had to have been involved somehow. And I remember catching that pretty early, being like, how does she know, like how is she so drawn to leads, and how does she know so many details of his life and Layla's life without being involved somehow? But what I thought it was, I thought this was maybe a spirit. I had like this theory that it was a spirit that was attached to Leeds for many years of his life. So I thought that Willow had been around for many years, but she was just now making herself known. But of course that's not what happened.
No.
But it was very apparent to me pretty much from the beginning that this was a spirit that was attached to Leeds somehow, from even before here.
Do you know, the one thing that really like got me though towards the end, and like you guys are here so you should know all of this, but when they have to finally make the decision to try to get Layla back in her body, I felt so bad for Leeds, because Aspen, that was his sister, right?
Her sister, yeah.
She was flipping the fuck out, and
well, of course she was.
Yeah,
it was very clear that Leeds killed her.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And I like, but I felt for him because we knew what was happening. Yeah. She had no idea, and she was like, "You get the fuck away from my sister." Like, I felt for him, because that's never gonna be a thing. Like, you're not gonna be able to convince his sister. And
I really appreciated the epilogue, because I remember reading reviews after I finished it, and somebody had gotten an arc of Layla where there wasn't the epilogue, and she said that she really wished there had been an epilogue. And so now going back and looking at it, I really also appreciate the epilogue to kind of see where they were. Yeah. So originally with the arc that she read, it just ended with Layla in the hospital, and us realizing that she was back in her body. And so you didn't get that after of them living in the house.
I like the after.
Yeah. It was.
But also, like, still, I felt for him, because, like, he's never going to be able to convince her sister of anything else.
Well, and that's what I thought that would have been an interesting twist, too, for Colleen to take, is if she had made it to where, Layla hadn't been successful. Yeah, that would have been really, really, really interesting. Because I mean, obviously Leeds would have gone to prison.
Leeds would have definitely gone to prison.
Yeah.
Because, Aspen was on that shit.
And the parts where Aspen, and I can't remember her husband's name, where they were visiting, and it was after he had already started to tie Sable Layla up. And she kept... so then of course Willow kept going in her body, and then sometimes she would kick her out, and she would like start screaming. She would just freaking out. It was so, and it's so weird to read a book like that where you can visualize that happening just off of how Colleen was writing it, which I think was really, really cool.
I thought that was very cool.
Yeah, the whole situation, I was like, what the fuck is going on?
The whole thing. I remember the very first scene that I started to notice.
Yeah. Sorry, we're looking down at the book down here.
The very first scene that I started to notice, which was when she ate the whole bowl of pasta.
Yes.
And then she just started screaming, and I was like, What? What happened?
So funny. And she would freak out because she would like, I mean, but you have to put yourself in her shoes. Like, imagine just like blacking out and then looking down and seeing that like all your food was gone and you don't remember eating it. Like, that's insane.
Yeah.
That's so funny to me.
But it was just like, that was the very first scene and I was like, what happened? All you did was eat.
Yeah.
What happened?
And also I kind of wonder, kind of going back to like Sable, if Colleen was trying to make her seem more humane a little bit by putting her in Layla's body. And I mean, she was scared. Like, there were parts where I like felt for her because she was, I mean, it's terrifying. You're tied up to a bed, you know, you don't, like, there's bits of your memory missing. It's gotta be scary.
And at some point she's like, not again. Like,
yeah.
With her taking over.
And she really honestly at that point probably, I think a big part of her didn't even realize that she was Sable.
No, so that's what I think made me feel for her, is because
she wasn't Sable. Truly she wasn't
she
Sable.
really wasn't. She was still the spirit of this girl, but she didn't remember doing any of these things. She didn't remember why she did these things or who she even was. So I did feel for her.
Did definitely feel for her too.
Although Sable was
crazy.
And
We clearly had a mental disorder.
For sure.
But it was still really sad to see like the deep confusion that she felt when, you know, she would wake up and she would come to and wouldn't remember anything that had happened because clearly somebody else, and like when she would wake up just downstairs, you know, standing up, and she wouldn't have any recollection of how she got down there because Willow was inside her body.
Yeah. When the power went out. And she just started screaming.
Yeah. Yeah. It was just fucking crazy. It was crazy. And another note that I have written down here is how I, from the very beginning, loved Layla's character. And it's very rare that I love a main character that much. I usually am like a side character kind of girl.
You are.
But from the very first time that she was mentioned, I loved Layla. And I remember thinking that the book from Leeds' point of view, I was bored with him because Leeds without Layla was boring. And I think that proves just how bright her spirit was.
Yeah.
That like when she was missing, like I really felt it in the book. And so I think that's why I ended up liking Willow so much. Obviously, it was because she was Layla. But and there were points where I was like mad at him for feeling the connection with Willow, and I was mad at myself for liking Willow so much when she was the one that was making Leeds kind of stray away. But of course it all made sense because it was her. But
yeah, I was getting so frustrated.
I was really
like,
frustrated with it because I loved Layla so much.
If you were gonna leave her during this rough time to be with the spirit,
when she's the like, she got shot because of you. But of course.
Yeah. But of course there was much we did not know at the time.
And I think it's just so, I'm not a sappy person, but I think it's like so precious that she thought to go there. You know, even when she wasn't aware of who she was or how she became a spirit, like she thought to go to the place that they met. Like once again, it's like it brings a more literal meaning to soulmates.
Yeah.
Because her soul was drawn to where her and Leeds met.
Absolutely. I completely agree with that.
Yeah. Anyway, I know we just kind of only talked about the ending. But
I mean, I feel like there's not, I mean, there's crumbs.
The beginning is just leading up to the end, like with any other book, and so the bulk of what we felt like I wanted to...
There is one thing. The interviewer, that got me. Like, I thought he was just like some paranormal guru type guy. He was an actual spirit? But he was a spirit. He was a spirit too.
That's wild to me because I've never thought about spirits being able to, like, you know, use computers and shit like that. You know, that's a new take. It's kind of almost a new take on ghosts.
It is. It is.
Because I thought it was interesting though.
Yeah. That was just another little wow. Can't believe she like pulled that out.
Yeah. And I can't believe
it makes more sense, honestly.
Yeah.
It makes more sense that another spirit would know what was going on.
And it makes sense that spirits, because spirits were at one point human, so it makes sense that they would have the same urges that humans do, and the same, you know, feel the same feelings. And I loved, like, the scenes of Willow and Leeds, like, watching movies and, like, eating. Like, I thought that was so cool. Like, she was, you know, once again, she has those human urges still to, like, eat and everything.
She just wanted food. Like,
the poor girl was just hungry.
She's just hungry. Just let her eat, guys.
Those scenes killed me. But you know what scenes creeped me out? Was like the sex scenes.
Yeah, that was a little much for me, honestly.
But once I realized that it was Layla, I felt a lot better about that.
Yeah, I did too.
But still, for a second, I was like, he's fucking a ghost.
Yeah.
Like, that's a lot.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
That's a lot to deal with.
It was a lot for me to process at the time. Like, it was like, I'm just gonna pretend like I didn't just read a scene about him literally having sex with a ghost in his girlfriend's body. Alright, well thank you so much for watching. We hope you guys enjoyed it. Let us know down below if you've read Layla. Hopefully you have if you've watched this video.
Yeah.
Otherwise we just spoiled it for you.
If you're still here.
Yeah, and let us know what you thought and what your favorite and least favorite parts were. It was definitely interesting. It wasn't what I expected.
Yeah, or if you guys had any other theories while you were reading it, please share.
I'm really interested in theories. So yeah, thanks for watching, and make sure you hit that subscribe button so you see when we update next, and everything will be linked down below, and we'll see you guys next time.